So here's a very quick overview to Garageband. As soon as you open up Garageband, if you have a track that you were working on before, it will open to that. That's why this is the screen that I'm seeing right now. So just to walk you through a few of the essential bits, you'll notice right here that I have the capability to adjust the audio as many times as I want, so I can pull that up and down. But when you start working with GarageBand, you need to go to Mix, Show Automation to have that capability of allowing you to adjust the audio. So I've turned it off, I'll turn it back on, you'll see that yellow line, and then I can adjust accordingly as many times as I'd like. The other thing that you need to know is if I toggle over to a bit of audio that I want to get rid of, I can select Command T, and that will split the track. And then I can cut out bits, I can drag the audio track, and then I can have it overlap with other audio tracks if I would like to. So Command T is the other function that you need to get familiar with. And of course I use the space bar to play and pause. When you open up loops, you can search by instrument to find great little audio clips. So loops is what I use to create all of my transition music, all of my intro and outro music for any podcast episode. And the thing that's great is when I click L, it will automatically loop that loop so that then I have that audio for as long as I need it to be. And then of course I can layer loop on top of loop on top of loop so that you can put together an interesting sounding little jingle for your podcast. My pro tip for you is anytime you are starting a new empty project, anytime you're going to launch that and start working on a podcast, I select drummer. By the way, we'll talk a little bit later on in class about why I do that. But I make sure that I have all of my audio tracks organized, all of the files named, and I keep those on my desktop. That way it's easy for me to just drag and drop them into GarageBand, and if I have named them by file, it's really easy then for me to know when I need that in the final production. So organizing your files is essential if you want to make the workflow for you, the podcast producer, a little bit easier. So again, because I've selected drummer, I'm going to have an automatic audio track with drums for when I need it. And again, we'll talk a little bit more about that in class. So there's all of my audio files that I saved to the desktop. I just drag them in. If you select any of them, just showing you there, you can zoom in and out to see sort of in detail, or zoom out and see the big picture of your audio track. So then I can drag all of these files around. And the other thing is when you are listening to the audio, you can turn isolated tracks off, like I've done right there. And you'll see they go gray. And that way you won't be listening to 4 simultaneous tracks if you just need to listen to 1 or 2. So essentially, those are the things that you really need to familiarize yourself with, using Command T to cut and then delete audio that you don't need, playing around a little bit with loops, understanding that yes, you can fade in and out of the volume, and again, that is Mix, Show Automation, and then you'll have that nice yellow bar there, and you can decide to have the music just slowly fade in the background. That's a really nice way to add some complexity to your podcast. And then the last thing that you need to know, when you are going to save an episode, you go to Share, and then you want to export song to disk, and that's going to save. Okay, look forward to making some great podcasts together in class.